you do two PYQs every day. That is what I did. Like I used to make it my habit to solve two PYQs, and then I would also analyze the answers.
Early you start, the better chances you have of qualifying.
Trying to prepare for net JRF, your this attempt should be your final attempt. Like don't postpone it to the next attempt.
Yeah.
You will not be able to. You need to have that right mindset.
Hi everyone, welcome to UGC Net Testbook. This is Dakshita, your guide for English literature, and today we are in conversation with Shikha, a JRF holder, guys, and she qualified JRF in this very attempt of us, जो अभी हमारा examination 5th of January को conduct किया गया था. And I am super excited. So I will not take a lot of screen space, and I would directly go to Shikha, and I would want her to tell us about herself, about give us an introduction of who Shikha is. Let's talk to her.
So hi,
Hi,
everyone.
Shikha.
Hi, ma'am. So nice to see you here because, I've been looking up to you for such a long time now, and now seeing you in person, it seems so unreal. So, yeah, hi, everyone. My name is Shikha, and I just qualified JRF, as ma'am said, and my percentile is 99.9, and it feels very amazing. This was my second attempt. In my first attempt, also, I did get PhD only, and I think I lagged net by three questions. So that was something really sad. And I completed my bachelor's. I did English honors from Graphicera Hill University here in Dehradun. Then I belong to Dehradun, Uttarakhand. And then for my master's, I did it from Open University. And then, yes, that is it now. This is me qualified, a JRF qualifier, I guess.
The fact that in the first attempt it was PhD and then you jumped from there to JRL, that is amazing. That's commendable. Shikha, I would want to know. So you had English honors as your in your bachelor's as well as in your master's, I suppose. So
Yes.
you had a background in English itself. So why did you go for academia, like not something else, but academics and PhD for that matter?
It has been an on and off relationship because after I did my bachelor's, I kind of shifted into acting for a while. Then that also worked out really well. Yes, I've done a few ads for like Amazon and Bits Pilani and stuff like that. And then
That's amazing, Shikha.
yeah, it was like an interest, but I really wanted to work upon it. And then, I used to read a lot back in class 11th and 12th. And then once I got into acting, I kind of lost that touch with reading because I was constantly on camera and, acting and stuff. So I really missed reading. And that is when I realized that maybe this is something that, I should try. Like, will it work for me? Or and then I again got back into academia and then did my master's. And, for my master's also, I tried getting into EFLU, Hyderabad, and I
Yeah.
the examination, the entrance examination, I got AIR 7. But I couldn't go because like I was not sure whether I wanted to get into academia or I wanted to continue with acting. So yeah, that is that. And then of course my passion for reading was something that I really, really hold close to myself. Like I really enjoy reading, and I realized that teaching was also something that I had been doing for a very long time because I was a tutor, like a tuition teacher in class 11, 12. Then throughout my graduation also I used to teach all these students like who used to study with me. So I was the one who would complete the syllabus and then I would teach them. So I
Yeah.
realized that maybe this is something that would work for me, and I think that is something that I want to do in future also. Like I want to apply for a professor job eventually once I complete my PhD.
Yeah, I completely get that. Like I understand the whole idea of when you step into something and then at the same time you can do multiple things in your life. If for that matter, even I am this person, I would want to do everything which is possibly out there. Like I don't want to miss any opportunity, which I feel was the case with you, and you might as well continue with your acting as well, apart from what you are doing right now, and you're doing amazing in both the fields. So that's commendable. Shikha, I would like to know about your journey of preparing for your UGC net examination. How did that look like?
Yes. So basically, I started preparing for a net during the final year of my master's. Like I realized that this exam was the most important like eligibility criteria that I would need in order to pursue PhD eventually.
Yeah, right.
So I started preparing in the January. In the month of January 2025, and that time I was like not again I said it was a bit tentative sort of a situation happening with me. So I wanted to give the June 2025 attempt. That was my first attempt. And I was like, fine, मतलब होता है तो अच्छा है, नहीं भी होता है तो we'll just see, like a trial attempt. And that I think was the worst thing that I had done at that point of time, because my mindset was not clear. Somewhere down the line I was like, ठीक है ना, you shouldn't have that attitude. And this is also my suggestion to each one of you who is trying to prepare for net JRF. This attempt should be your final attempt. Like, don't try to postpone it to the next attempt.
Yeah.
You will not be able to.
Yeah.
You need to have that right mindset.
Correct. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, how exactly did you organize things for yourself? Like, what was your strategy?
Yes. So, ma'am, there is one thing that students, they kind of fall into this trap of trying to prepare all the content themselves, and that is such a waste of time. Such a waste of time. Like, you all have done that hard work, done that labor, and you are there with your, like, the final content that we need to absorb now. So, what I did was I bought a course and I worked hard with the notes that I already had. I built upon that, looking at all the lectures and all the YouTube classes that really spoke to me. So I looked into that, and then I just built upon my notes. I did not rely on 15 different sources, or also like trying to look up at Wikipedia, for the little things, because I had already got all the content. So what I needed to do was merely practice what I had, and really uh, try to just remember and memorize everything. So that is what I did. Like, it will be a very foolish task if you think that you have to do that labor all by yourself. You don't have to. And in June 2025 attempt, I just jot down all the content, and as soon as I started preparing for December 2025 attempt, I started it from the month of July, because I knew that I will not qualify for June. So I was sure that I need to get it after, like, this December 2025 attempt. So from
Yeah.
July itself, I started preparing. And the strategy that worked for me was recalling. Like, I did not sit with my notes and this just kept looking at them. I studied for 12 hours every day minimum. Like, I made it my habit that I have to sit, and it was not like a burden, because I had divided those 12 hours into chunks. Like, there was not a big block of 12 hours that I needed to study. It was divided into like 2 hours, and I had good breaks in between where I could just energize myself so that I could get back into that mode of studying and reading and stuff like that. So you have to study, you have to work hard, but very smartly. Like, you cannot just foolishly get into it and then study anything and everything that you see online.
Yeah, everything you simply can't cover everything under the sun. And that's the whole point. UGC net syllabus is very so vague, so vast that
That's
it's
true.
not humanly possible for you to know all the works, for you to know the story of all the works, for you to know the chronology of all the lines which are
That's
there in
true.
the work. But I personally feel like a one takeaway that I would take from Shikha's whole journey, that having interest in the subject is what matters a lot. If you don't like the subject the way you should, it obviously becomes 10 times more difficult for you to sit for this examination and again make a career out of this, for
That's
that
right.
matter. Like studying this, teaching this to students in future, you would have to, it's a lifelong process of learning again and again, because throughout your life you are learning when you are a professor.
That's
And another major takeaway I would say is starting early. The
yeah.
early you start, the better chances you have of qualifying your in the very attempt, and also taking every attempt very seriously. Never go with that approach that, oh, this is a trial attempt, I will just sit for this examination just for the sake of sitting for the examination. What if you qualify in this very attempt itself? So I would strongly agree with you there that whenever you're preparing, prepare with a mindset that this is the final deal, like I have to crack it this time itself.
And ma'am,
And
there is one more thing. I have seen students worry about that 30% of the paper that they will not know the answers of. Like, it is not going to be solved by anyone.
yeah,
Not just you,
yeah,
not by anyone. Don't focus on those 30 marks. That 70 marks that you have, you need to, like, work hard for those 70 marks and try to get at least 60 correct out of them. And that is what I did. So I got like 40 in paper one, 40 questions were correct, and then 60 were correct in paper two, because I
mm,
made it like my strong point. Like, I wanted that. I knew that those 70 questions are where I want to score, and I will not worry about that 30 marks. So this is also something that you should, like, really think about when you're preparing. Like, you have to be very smart. You can't just work hard like a donkey. You can't just 12 hours open British literature and
exactly,
expect that
exactly.
you learn everything. Like, that will never happen.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad. I have been saying this so many times in my videos that stop chasing everything. जो क्वेश्चंस आपको नहीं आ रहे हैं वो क्वेश्चंस मेजॉरिटी को नहीं आ रहे हैं, सबको पता है वो आउट ऑफ नॉट एग्जैक्टली आउट ऑफ द सिलेबस बट अगेन लाइक कैनोनिकल उस आपके उस एरेना में फॉल नहीं कर रहा है एंड अगेन नॉट एवरीवन इज अवेयर ऑफ दोस राइटर्स और दोस फिगर्स व्हिच इज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन. You will eventually as a professor, but right now if you don't, that's fine also. Okay, Shikha, one more thing. When it comes to, as you mentioned, you scored 40 questions for correct in paper one and 60. Paper one should be prepared simultaneously, or should you specifically devote, certain set of
Definitely, ma'am.
months?
Definitely. Like, as someone who has qualified JRF, and if you are someone who really wish to get into JRF, you really have to work on your paper one. Like, you have to, just make that mindset that I need to score at least 40 to 42 questions correct in paper one. And how will that happen? Attempt two previous year question papers every day starting from June. Like, you have so much content available online, use that. It's there for free also. There are paid batches, there are test series that you have everywhere that's available. So just enroll in, just use that money. Don't save it for your next attempt, please. So you take those series, you do two PYQs every day. That is what I did. Like, I used to make it my habit to solve two PYQs, and then I would also analyze the answers. Like, don't just solve them and sit there and nothing is going to happen. Like, no magic then makes you learn all those things. You're going to learn them by doing it.
Yeah, completely. PYQs, does PYQs actually make a difference? Because in the recent attempt, when I went to the center and I was asking questions to the students, many were really upset with the idea that PYQs are not there, ma'am. Nothing from the PYQs was asked. It's pointless to even go through the PYQs now.
Ma'am, but
What is your take on that?
ma'am, for paper one, I'm saying PYQs are the key. For paper one, you have
Yeah, it's a game changer. I
yes.
personally feel it's
And
always a game changer.
for paper two, ma'am, I believe that if they keep on repeating the questions, what do you have to offer to them then? What do you have to offer
Exactly.
to them? You just have to. The PYQs are not for copy pasting. They are not going to give you the same question in the next attempt. They are going to twist and turn their questions. The language might change, but objective is going to remain the same. This is what you should focus upon. Like, I saw so many people worried about linguistics and stuff, but if
Yeah.
I do not know that linguistics ka answer, the other person also would not know it, na. So why worry about it?
Majority didn't. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So that is what I think, that PYQs are important because they will tell you where to study from. Because literary theory, your theorists will not change. Literary criticism,
Yeah.
your critics will not change. Okay.
Yeah.
A few new names might come, but the majority of the questions are going to be from the ones that are already there. You just have to decide how deep you have to go into each one.
Yeah, absolutely right. And do you think that your master syllabus has had anything to do with the prep that you did? Like it helped in any manner?
Ma'am, not
What you studied
exactly
in your
my
master's?
master's. I mean, but my bachelor's did because I also have this book to show to you. So I have The Way of the World, and it was prescribed in my syllabus. And you must be knowing that we had questions.
Yeah,
This time I
yeah,
got so lucky because I don't like go in detail with every text. Nobody does. But then since I
yeah.
had read this book in my bachelor's, it helped. And here is what something that I also want to add is that luck plays a very important role.
That is true.
Like, you never know, like, because if your foundation is nice, okay, like you've done your bachelor's, like I have done my bachelor's in English, I've done my master's in English, so many questions, so I already had an idea about, because I had already studied about them. And that is where luck came in. There must be some students who might have linguistics in their bachelor's, in their master's,
That
so
is
it is
true.
going to help them. But similarly, there are going to be students who might have something else that they have studied, and it is going to come.
Yeah, it makes complete sense, Shikha. And apart from that, I would want to ask, like, when you were preparing, how did you utilize the content which was available to you? Like, as in, as you mentioned, there's so much which is there on the internet. And I'll be honest, when I was preparing, there was not as much bulk available online as much right now students have access to. Even if you want to go and learn linguistics, there's so many videos out there available. I understand that from a UGC net perspective, they might not have put videos out there, crash courses out there, but you have to obviously make figure out what is being asked, and through that you would have to individually find videos around it and make that effort. But how do you actually utilize the content, the bulk which is available there, and how do you organize things out of that?
So, ma'am, you literally cannot eat everything on your plate. Okay, you'll have to figure out the dishes that you love the most. So for me, it was you, because I remembered for sometimes you were not there, right? You were not on YouTube. And because I was learning from you only previously, it became really difficult for me. I was like, I need you, because you gave me that space. You really spoke to me, the way you taught, the way you teach, the way you try to explain things, the way you connect them with the other ideas. I also mind map that in my own head. So, once you will go through that huge chunk through YouTube, you will realize that there are some specific teachers, for example, like you, who are doing it the right way. Okay, and how do you understand that it is the right way? Everything will be chronologically available to you. Like, you will know that, you know everything has a starting and then an ending point. Okay, and
Yeah.
then also the teacher tells you how to go about that. And this is something that I've seen in your videos also. Like, for the last week before the examinations, you did this series on Testbook itself, where you covered all the 10 units. And I knew, like, this is something that I wanted, because I was in so much anxiety at that point of time that I really did not know where to study from. And those PYQs that we did, even if nothing came from there, although it did, but even if nothing came, I knew that I wouldn't have studied anything else, because I was in so much anxiety, so much pressure. So this is what is going to happen with you students also. When you are looking for the right content, look for the teacher who is speaking to you, whose content
Yeah.
matches with the PYQs, who is trying to put that effort to give you something new every time. Now, like, don't see, there is content available which has been recorded. Okay, and it has been recorded a very long time back, and then it is not being edited. So don't fall into this trap. Look,
Yeah.
go through these interviews, like, of the students who have already qualified JRF. They will tell you what was the right approach. And for me, I can vouch for Dakshita ma'am, like, 100%. Like, if you want to get a paid course, get hers. Get hers, and I'll like, I can 100% vouch for it. You will qualify JRF.
That is really sweet of you to say, Shikha. But yeah, thank you so much. I honestly feel that there's so much that we can learn from the people who have qualified, guys, because everyone come from a different background altogether, and they have their own timeline. They start from some point in time where you might feel that, oh, I should have started then. You feel that I should have started from here itself. Whenever you start it with the perspective that, okay, I have started and I have to reach the end goal now from here itself. And I feel that is what we take from Shikha's journey as well, that she, once she had put her mind to this, that okay, I have seen the examination and I know that I got to do this, because what I'm planning for myself in future, this is the gateway. I have to go through this. This is the rite of passage which you have to go through. It's not easy. It's obviously not easy. But again, there is so much out there which is for you, available free of cost. You just have to be very mindful which educator you resonate with, which whose content you resonate with, and everyone obviously resonate with a different person. So that is again absolutely fine. But you have to start from somewhere. So thank you so much, Shikha. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I just would want you to say this, that one thing which you feel that every coming aspirant who's like aspiring aspirant of the coming cycle should know, like that one thing which you feel should be there.
Okay, so to not be worried because of the difficulty level of the examination, because even if it is easy, it is going to be easy for everyone. If it's difficult, it is going to be difficult for everyone. That should not be something that should worry you. Focus on yourself. You have to, your today has to be better than your yesterday. If that is something, like, if you've done 50% yesterday, today should be 100%, tomorrow should be 150%. And do not merely, please, like, if you're trying to study, don't just read through your notes. Active recalling is the key, because I have done that. I have something to show you also here. Okay, so this is my notebook. Okay, so because I had a huge chunk of all these things that were said by people, all these statements said by critics, so I did not know where to look for, because I had so many notebooks, right? So I made a list of all these things that were said, and then I also wrote the name who said to whom. So you should know how to shorten your notes. Shorten your
Yeah.
notes and then revise them. Do not go through, because every time you will revise, it will be very difficult for you to go through that huge chunk of notes that you have made. So shorten up your notes, revise them wisely. Do not look at them. Try to recall them. And if you have the right mindset, you will do it and look for like her.
That is so true. That is honestly very true because what I've seen is even when we as educator provide notes to students, they always have this dilemma of, ma'am, should I make my own notes as well? Which I personally feel like I've been this person. I have to write something down to actually retain it. तो मैंने जब तक अपने हाथ से नहीं लिखा है मेरे दिमाग में नहीं जाता है. So again, hard copy and writing something down is a different thing altogether, but you can't do it for the entire syllabus. Obviously, you would have to. The educator is saving your time for in doing that labor, doing the research, providing you everything in absolute detail, incorporating the PYQs of all the examinations out there, not just net examination. Once they have done that part for you, the last month, the month where you would have to revise everything, you should be incorporating all the time of yours and making notes, which you will be able to revise, which is also possible, practical, which is something you will utilize in the last month of yours. जो आप revise कर सकते हो, just the key pointers. And I feel that differs with every individual. Some struggle with quotations, some struggle with maybe the chronology of works, some struggle with remembering the setting of works. These are just those facts which you need to have somewhere in a written form. And again, if you have jotted it down, obviously, it
And ma'am, I
will be
remember
helpful for you to
in one
recall.
of your videos, you'd also said, that if you want to answer a statement based question where you have to recognize which critique has said that, you have to also know about the psyche of that critique. Like, what does he think about this person? And then, like, when I know Dryden, I know how Dryden thinks of Shakespeare. I know how Johnson thinks of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And if I see a statement, I would then have an idea, like, who is this
Yeah.
speaker? Because you cannot learn all those lines.
That is so true. I always have this thing like I whenever I'm teaching a writer, I take it as we are gossiping about this person. So let's just take it as, oh, okay. So Dryden was this person who was very opportunistic. And Ben Jonson used to think this. He was very rigid, very particular with things. He wanted everything to be the firm, the classics, and so basically gossip about people. And
Yes.
that's how you will be able to remember. Because that's a thing which I feel works for almost everyone.
And ma'am, even like in literary theory, I felt like, everybody's scared of literary theory, okay? And that was something that I really had interest in, okay? So I made my notes, and as I said, I also had taken a course, and I made my notes and they lagged so much. And that was something that I realized when I saw it, like when I looked at your lectures. Remember in the last week only, you did this last PYQ session on literary critiques and all those things, on theorists. I looked at that session and I realized that, oh, this is missing, this is missing, this is missing. And then I made my own notes, very short notes, because we didn't have time. And I went through them
Yeah.
right before the exam. Like, I had first shift, tha, to in the just went through them. And I was like, it helped. I should have studied this earlier. But ma'am was missing. Where was ma'am?
I'm glad that happened.
So
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shikha. Thank you for taking out time for this. And it was lovely having a conversation with you. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from here, guys. And please make sure that you incorporate the things that Shikha mentioned. I feel she guided so well. Like even I have a few learnings. I had a few learnings in this session. So thank you so much, Shikha. It was amazing. It was great. And I would love to see you grow even more. And, you deserve so much more. So I wish the world for you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here
thank you
today.
so much for having me, ma'am. It was really lovely talking to you, and I hope students take away a lot from this, session and my experience. And I wish you all the very best.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye now.